We live. Go ahead and clap that up. All right. Hey, Shalom Israel. It's the Tuesday night brother class. I'm Precinct Officer Quatazar Bayahara Bayasharala. So let me start off by saying we are the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are not affiliated with any other Christian group, saint, Muslim mosque, or anything. We are under Command Engineer Hana out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And like I said before, we don't affiliate with any other Israelite group. You understand? The Lord is only dealing with one man in this nation, and that is the Commanding General Yahana. All right, so tonight is, in typical UPK fashion, the Brotherhood night. So all across the globe, we have our brothers, teaching what it means to be a brother, what I'm saying, which is synonymous to being a sister. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. Further ado, we'll get started. All right. What does it mean to be a brother, which is synonymous to a sister? So if you tuned in to any brotherhood clause, you understand and know that to be a brother means the quality of state of being a brother, which is synonymous to a sister. What type of brother are you? What type of sister are you? All right. And tonight we're going to try to find out what is the value of your brother. All right. Because oftentimes we all say we love the Lord, but then we don't do what he says. We all say that we love one another, but we don't do what's conducive to one another having a valiant life, of obedience when it comes to the Most High through Christ by obeying these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because if you think about it, if you're a father and you have children and you allow your favorite son, that one that you know is going to make you the proudest to die for the other children's sins, what do you expect those other children to do? How much value do you hold within yourself versus the value that you're actually worth because of the work that you're doing versus the evil that you're committing through sin every day? All right. So like I said before, ISUPK Columbus, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. All right. And we're going to get this ball rolling. All right. Shalom. Yahbashim Yashab Barakatah, all the brothers. Shalom. Yahshemar Thabah. Shem Yahweh to all the sisters. Okay. So I would be remiss if I didn't tell you as a brother, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to obeying these laws, statutes, commandments, we have a lot of fake woke brothers and sisters in this nation. When it comes to your Christian pastor and everybody who grew up under his lion lips, generations of brothers and sisters, who have gotten a low quality of life style, thinking that being like the oppressor and being up under his foot is what it means to be an actual Israelite or a child of God per se, because according to the Christian church, the Israelites of old are extinct. Those Israelites of antiquity, they fell off the face of the map. But Barakatah Yahweh Yahushua for commanding Yohana and his truth, and all the mighty men that obey, orders, we're able to understand that the Israelites of antiquity didn't just fall off the face of the earth. Those brothers and sisters that came before us who died, trying to do the will of the Lord, just trying to survive, they're not just taken for granted, because we are those Israelites and we've been here this whole time. But because of Christian doctrine, which is white supremacy, they stand more to gain. You're talking about people that are fully and solely about economic power and just, power over anyone. They had us believing that we were African Americans this whole time. Well, I'm here to tell you, thanks to Commander Junior and all the mighty men that fall up under him, that we're not African, first of all. We for sure aren't Americans. This is just a place that we reside, that we slave. All right. So like I was saying before, I'd be remiss to tell you that if you believe that you're not supposed to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, all right, like most people do, if you believe that, we're supposed to keep the laws, or that you're not supposed to be an adulterer or a murderer or homosexual. Understand this. Knowing those things, you are supposed to pay your tithes. All right? Pay your tithes. Okay? Everyone talks about what they don't do, and yeah, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't smoke, and well, do you pay your tithes? Which is also a commandment. So if you're gonna keep those, keep this one as well, you know, and understand, like, give your tithes over to the ISUPK. That's how a nation is ran. That's how government runs. Okay, not through your Christian church where you have one man soaking in all these tithes and benefiting and prospering, you know, and not even giving back to his congregation. Understand that. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, if you want your money to go where it's needed, in the barrios and the favelas, you know what I'm saying, in the hoods, in the ghettos, you know what I'm saying, pay your money to the ISUPK under commanding General Yohanan, you know. That brother right there, Barak Yahweh, I was shocked for him because let it have been TD Jakes leading this nation. No truth would have came out, just lies, you know. Let it have been theft your dollars, you know. Paying your tithes ain't gonna do nothing but put some white walls on his Cadillac, you know what I'm saying? Some new shutters on his wife's she shack. You know what I'm saying? But when you pay your tithes to ISUPK, we ensure that, listen, that baby that was about to get aborted has a home. You know, if you need help paying your rent, your car note, you know, you have a loved one that's in prison, you need counsel or someone to come and help you move or food or whatever it is, just understand that this mighty nation that Commander General Hunter is building, it's necessary that you pay your tithes because he's not going to spend that money like it's filthy lucre and you know utilize it for himself. He's going to do what's necessary so he can keep building this great nation and do what he was commanded to do. You know, from the Most High on down to Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who the world knows is Christ. All right. So pay your tithes, man. Pay your tithes. All right. So if you are living in Columbus, Ohio, there has been some things going on in the news when it comes to theft of automobiles, robberies, and murders, right? Come on. Yeah, murders from one another, like let's say what the world would call black on black crime. But you know, that's like sibling rivalry. You know, whenever you put two kids together and you only give them one piece of candy, as a child, they're gonna fight over it. But what do you do and what do you expect when they're adults? They're gonna kill each other over it. So whose fault is that? The oppressor, you know, who is the devil the Bible speaks of. That's his fault. Don't give us enough space to stretch our arms or legs, doesn't give us enough food. And if you live in certain states, now the water's going bad, but yet still you have billions and millions to send over to Ukraine and all these other countries, you know, when their people are trying to unite their people. You want to intervene with countries that aren't even a part of the so-called United Nations. So what say ye when it comes to the people that live here in America? Well, when it comes to the Americans, they're just fine. But when it comes to the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, I have something to say about that because we suffer. Understand that if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you know, your government, you know, your Christian leaders and their policies don't care about you. You live in a society where they will raise American flag above you, right? And give it more respect, more honor, you know, more diligence than actual living human being. And we're talking about an inanimate object that only comes to life when the wind's blowing, right? Google how much time you spend in jail or the fine you would have to pay when you burn an American flag. Understand that. Versus when a child of God is killed. I'm talking about the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians. So if you live in Columbus or if you're in tune with CNN or any of the news channels, we just had a young brother pass away uh, by death from the death squad, you know, the police force. His name was Donovan Lewis, man. And this young brother lost his life. Wow. being in bed, unaware to the terrorists that were at his front door. Yes, I said terrorists because whenever your taxpaying dollars go towards supposedly governing and communing the community, and you have a situation where police kick in a young man's door and shoot him to death, and all he has in his hand is a vape pen, which I think on the video it says, "Oh, it's a vape pen," and then he shoots him anyway. I'm not even sure. I could be wrong about that, but to say the least, with all your training, with all the money that your governor Mike DeWine or DeWine, however you said, has spent $8.5 million that went to 21 law enforcement agencies. This is what we succumb to. What? A black man laying in his bed and getting the door kicked in by the police and then killed. No tasers were deployed. I heard he had I think it was a K9 in his hand. The dog wasn't released. He just shot the man in his bed. You think about what you sleep with in your bed. You know, some people go commando. You know, it's too much TMI, too much information to say. You know what it is, but that's the privacy of your own home. You know, how many people sleep with a gun? Understand? You know, we may have them, but how many sleep with it? I think it was around the hours like two.
Slovakia, I'm not sure, but I can look it
No,
up.
that's all good. You know, but hey, shalom, no quite worry. How you doing, man? Yabashim Yashabakata. But if you think about it, like, what is the sense in that? Your taxpaying dollars go towards a hit squad that kill us and murder us in the street, man. Think about that. You know, your taxpaying dollars go towards hit squads. Your tithes and offerings go towards pastors that line you up as targets for these hit squads. Because what they have reasonable suspicion that a people that don't smoke weed are smoking weed. Yeah, they're confederate against us. The tabernacles of Edom. Understand that. You think that, okay, he's all love and no, we serve a God of war. Understand that. Our spirit constantly fights against our flesh. And when you allow your spirit to win, if you're in good spirits and you're a righteous brother, you know, you can improve yourself. But if you're not, and you allow yourself to just smoke and be a drunk bastard or a child molester or a homosexual, then understand you're not proving yourself in the flesh. You understand? He deserves to be cast into the fire. We don't get a scripture, so lock it. A little bit talking about Bible. We're going to go to Lamentations 4 and 18. So if you tune it in, you know, this is a precept that you can keep and write down. Just don't listen and you know, think you're going to remember it because you're not. Write it down, man. These things are going to help you. These scriptures were written for our understanding and our learning. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian. So, Marky, we're going to go to the book of Lamentations. Yeah, it's kind of hard to turn these pages with these gloves on. I like the way they look. Once again, we're the ISUPK started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohanan. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group, any other Christian church or Muslim, Mosque, biker gang, or Black Panthers. You know, understand that we're men of war. This is why we dress this way and it looks good as a part of our nationality. All right, so we Lamentations 4 and 18. All right, here we go. So this is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verses 18. All right, I'm going to read for you. And it says, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in the streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Understand that, man. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian here in America, you know, the oppressor hunts our steps. What does that mean to hunt? Can you get a definition?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Webster's, Merriam-Webster's definition. Bob Goshaw.
Come
All right, we'll get that while we wait. All right, so it says, they hunt our steps. We're going to stop right there until we get that definition.
I have the definition.
Go ahead, read when you got it, Bob Goshaw.
Hunt means to pursue for food or in sport, to manage in the search for game, to pursue with intent to capture, to seek out.
To seek out. And so, if you live in America or here in Columbus, Ohio, we have a lot of hunters. They wear the camo and the fatigue, and their job is to pursue something for game. And but at the end of that game, it is killed. It isn't released back into the wild. So what we're reading right here is they hunt our steps. I mean, these oppressors, man, they hunt our steps, whether it's the Democrats, the Republicans, the governors of society, or the hit squad, which is AKA the police force, man. They hunt our steps. Everywhere we go, they hunt our steps and they kill us. Understand that. They have been watching us since they took, the chains off our necks and our feet, man. You know, and they outlaw all the things that we like to do. So you think about how a great hunter would sit in one of those. Man, they have so many things now. They have these little invisible tents, right, or perch, and on the outside, kind of like those pregnancy windows, they can flick on the switch and you see it and flick it and you can't see. On the outside, it looks like a whole bunch of leaves and foliage. But on the inside, you can see clear across wherever you're looking, right? They hunt our steps ever since they took the chains off of us, man. They gather intel to see what we like. And you know what they do? They banish it. They outlaw it. Just so that they can put the chains back on us and do with us as they will. And they know that they can because we sinned against our power. We don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments like we've been commanded to do. So they know that when we don't, the Lord turns his back on us. Now we can be had by any other nation. You know what I'm saying? Any other heathen. You understand? So when it comes to them hunting our steps, look, they beat us stone cold in the street, sick a dog on you. Anybody ever been bit by? You ever been bit by a dog? Yeah. Hey, listen. God forbid I get bit by one. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, you gonna see then if all dogs go to heaven. But I've seen a dog eat meat. I used to have a cane corso mixed with a rottweiler. It just crushed right through bone. Just imagine somebody saying, "No, stop," and the police officer sitting the dog on him anyway, crushing through those fingers. That's what we deal with as a people. George Floyd, knee in his neck, he can't breathe till he passes out and dies. Mike Brown, Breonna Taylor was one of the ones that got door kicked in and was murdered. They hunt us and they kill us in these streets. Man, we can't even go in our own streets, more or less our homes, man, because of this wicked oppressor. And they sit here and watch us. And I'm sitting here thinking about it. They get these body cams. Now we're starting to see the murders on body cams, but these body cams aren't for justice. These body cams are so that they can gather intel and be more stealthy and sneaky and keen when it comes to be the hunters that they are, just to kill us, man. You got whole precincts talking about killing Negroes, God's chosen, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, whole precincts on administrative leave. What's up with that? Where's our bill? When they going to pass a law for hate crimes for the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians? It goes back to what I said. They rather lift up an inanimate object called the American flag higher than the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians. That flag, which they deduce to being their nation's icon, has more rights than a living, breathing soul on this earth. Kid you not. You don't believe me? Listen, I'm not telling you to do this, but watch a video of somebody burning it and getting caught doing it. They're getting thrown in jail, getting a hefty fine. Meanwhile, police officers can kill a black man who's unarmed, hands in the air, don't shoot. Blow his head off, right? Blow his head off. Like, he's backwards. Administrative leave. Well, we had reasonable suspicion. Sound like Porky Pig, Salakia. Reasonable suspicion. That reasonable suspicion for all you coons out there is called racial profiling. All right? Racial profiling. They say, listen, man, they don't even serve their guy. They don't give a DAMN about him, and he don't give a DAMN about them. That's better, right?
Come on.
Right. So if you understand that, you understand Psalms 83, they're confederate against us. Because every nation we're poured into, what do? They take the best of everything we have. And because of our eyes longing for the things that they have, we trim our ways to try to seek their love. But we never receive it. You know what we receive? We receive knees in our back, and that's it, Salaki. Hey, Sean. Go ahead, go ahead, put your hands up there for me. How you doing, man? I'm doing all right. Glad you can make it out. Yes, sir. All right, go ahead, you two up. Most high Christ. So when it comes to the oppressor that the Bible speaks of, he is the devil, which means deceiver. All right. So right now we're just talking about what is the value of a brother. We're going into, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news. A brother by the name of Donovan Lewis was just murdered by the hit squad, aka the Columbus CPD. He was in his bed, unarmed, and they got body cam footage of the whole ordeal. And they mistakenly said that vape pen in his hand was taken for a gun. And they shot him dead. Having less lethal, deployment on their hips, and then lethal, which is what they innately use to kill him. And then they had a K9 unit as well. The dog wasn't released, nor was the taser deployed. Nor was any type of what's the stuff Charleston White used? Mace. Right. Yeah, no type of mace or nothing, man. Killed him. A 20-year-old, I think it was 20-year-old brother killed. It was in the early morning of and I don't know how brothers sleep, but I get comfortable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to be, all hot in the bed and stuff. And at the same time, the object of surprise, that's just one of those things where we're going over how they hunt us in the street. So we had Lamentations 4:18. Where? Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18. And so they hunted this brother, man. Lamentations? Yep, Lamentations 4:18. Lamb or lamb? Lament. Yep. Yeah, whenever you have trouble, keep your finger right there, the table of contents. It's going to be on the right-hand side. Yep, right there. The Old and New Testament. You see it? Yes, I see it. And just scroll on down. But we're talking about how they hunt us in the street, man. They kill us dead. When it comes to, the Republic, any other nation, you don't ever see them running down to the voting booths to vote. How many times you seen Kim Yo or Ling Ling at the voting booths to vote? The ones that do your nails. They don't care. They don't care. They've been able to establish a nation here in America and have a home, a point of origin, where their traditions and their cultures are sure and they're strong. Meanwhile, you spending portions of your child support check to get your coffin tips on. You understand? And what are they doing? They're throwing acetone on you when what? You come up $1 short? What kind of mess is that? Just imagine seeing your daughter trying to go to one of these, and Baruch Yahweh shot for this truth, man. I got a niece that does nails. What's it called? Claws by what?
Jordan.
Claws by George. Shameless plug, man. Claws by George. Check out my niece, man. She's a black woman that does nails, a young black woman. If you tired of getting, acetone thrown on you, you tired of them, what I'm saying, talking crap about you right in front of you, because they got to do their job. And you tired of them, you know what I'm saying, being rough with your cuticles. Check out Claws by Jordan. You know what I mean? She'll get you right. And she got that salt, man, that flavor. Her brother, her father's a mighty priest and prophet in this truth. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my niece, man. But yeah, man, they hunt us dead. They hunt us in these streets and they kill us dead in these streets, man. You know, they've been watching us since the chains came off our feet, and then they outlaw the things that we like to do. So think about just sitting on your porch and just, enjoying a cold 40. I don't know if niggas drink 40s anymore. Yeah, I still drink them. You know what I'm saying? A cold brew, you know what I mean? Or just, a little, whatever you like to do on your porch. They outlaw it. Public intoxication. You can't even do that. You're trying to cross the street between avenues and jet across it. They call that jaywalking. So the things that we do, they try to outlaw just so they can get us back in jail. Cheap manual labor, you know. They want us in change because it's profitable for them. This is why it's so important that we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments because it's profitable for us, especially when it comes to life. Keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, you come into life. But disobeying them, the Lord's going to turn his back. Now you're subject to whatever it is that they want to do to you, right? You think about a brother like Takashi 6ix9ine. He go in place and throw money, Had it not be for security, the people will overtake him. And even getting all his money, they will strip everything off of him and run all over him and kill him because of, their wants and their needs. But with that security, it's not happening. When it comes to the Lord, if we're obedient, it's not happening. And this is what we need to know as a nation. We don't have to be slaves to the oppressor. We already have the slave because of this wicked kingdom we live in, which is hell. And the Lord put us in this hell because we didn't listen to him during the Exodus. We were Joshua. We're doing all these wild things, murmuring and talking crap. I think to deliver us out of bondage. So now we have to pay the price. But make no mistake, those who led us into captivity shall go into captivity. Those that kill with the sword, they're going to be killed with the sword. And that's the type of kingdom I want to live in. So we go through it one more time. If you want to read it, go ahead, brother.
Where's we at again?
Book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18.
All right, chapter 4. Chapter 4, verse 18.
Yeah, take your time. Whenever you get it, go ahead.
All right. Chapter 4, verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
Man, you gotta understand, if you're not keeping these so-called laws, if you're not keeping these, not so-called slack, if you're not keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, right? The oppressor, he will hunt you down and kill you dead like a dog in the street. Ahmaud Arbery, brothers just jogging, curious, How often do you see the construction of a home, when it's in its raw state, How often do you see that? He's just jogging along, well, like he pulled up in a pickup truck to steal wood or copper, which, most devils do, you know what I'm saying? Taking out all the copper and all the aluminum out the house. He was just a brother jogging, exercising. When these two devils hunted him, man, hunted his steps like a dog on the street and then murdered him in cold blood, as in sport or game. His end was near. He didn't know how near. and it innately came to him, being murdered, his demise. That's what the oppressor does. He doesn't give us what we need. Flint, Michigan, now what is Mississippi? Got a problem with the water. Meanwhile, Putin's trying to unite his family of Russians that are all throughout Ukraine, and they're talking crap about the Blue Cross Blue Shield workers and calling them niggers and spits and all that. Meanwhile, they're getting slaughtered, which is glorious in my eyes because they don't love us. They got no love for us. You know what I'm saying? And then our government, the people that the Christians look up to, which we don't look up to in ISUPK, they're sending billions of dollars over there. Help Ukraine. I had Boost Mobile for almost 20 years, right? Boost Mobile. Not once during the midst of any type of situation where a black man was killed or Flint, Michigan needing water or some type of catastrophic event happening did they say you're going to get free calls and texts to your loved ones. Not once. But we're talking about international calling. Now it's free. Because the Ukrainians, they weren't even a part of the United Nations. They said, no, we're good. Now that Putin trying to put back the Soviet Union, listen, man, let those white folks do what they're going to do, run their move, and that's their business, right? But when it comes to so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native American Indians, we gonna do our business. Like General Mayaka Allah said, listen, now's not the time to be loving them. We need to love each other and come together, like Zephaniah said. All your nations undesired. In the kingdom, listen, you have plenty of time to love them. When they're under our rulership, you can throw a frisbee and have them go catch in their mouth, love them to death, while they're getting carpal tunnel for typing so much to make you a rich man. It's only fair. Why should we be punished for our sins, right? And then they just get away with theirs. No, it don't work like that. Because I don't serve a God of confusion, do you? No, he's a just man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
In fact, can we, if I may?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, brother.
Can we pick up on that? What it says about where God's not the confusion of God?
Yeah, for sure. Give me 2 seconds. And understand, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, you're anywhere around the Columbus area, man, call in, www.ishpk, check in, if you have a question, comment, or concern, all you need to do is bring your question and be earnest about getting the answer, all right? You can call us at 765-631-1129. If you want to go online, utilize the website, www.isupk.com. Give me a sec. I got you, brother. Understand that if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, if you can hear the sound of my voice, there is something that you need to do that's necessary, for your health and the survival of our people. All right. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. All right. ISUPK.com. Let me see. 14 and 33. I said 14 and 33, right? Good. Oh, service sucks in here. Whenever you got it, brother, you can go ahead and read.
Okay. Said 1 Corinthians.
Mm-hmm. First Corinthians, I think it's 14 and 33. So, of course, when I said we don't serve the author of confusion, you have to understand when this was written, what we're talking about, when it comes to an unknown tongue or a language that is spoken, like let's say your Christian church, you have brothers and sisters in the Christian church that speak that gibberish. They be like, get to tripping and having an outbreak and an outroar. But tongue just means language, man. So when you speak in another tongue, It needs to be edified by the people. I mean, you need to have someone who can discern it, right? So whenever you see like let's say the Olympics or something, and they're talking, you have someone who translates it. And when it comes to speaking another tongue, you need to have somebody who can translate it, or else it's not gonna be edifying to the people. Nobody's gonna know what they're talking about. And the same goes for these scriptures, man. These scriptures and what is written by the priests and prophets of old, you know, the Lord's not he's not the author of confusion. He's not going to change his way of what he said for one person. So there until it lets you know that the Christian church is full of liars. You think the Lord's going to undo years and years of keeping a strong law and allowing people to die for their misbeliefs just so that what one man could profit off of his own selfish gain? No, this is the law that endures forever. No matter what, this law is going to be here. It's here before us, here during while we're here, it's going to be here after us. You understand? When you pass away, you go back to the Most High. Your spirit goes back to the Most High, and you're like unto the angels, meaning whatever He needs from you. You're going to come back, and this law still going to be here. You know, this is how our kids get eternal life. This is their reward when they come back and they don't know Christmas. They don't know Thanksgiving, Easter. They don't know pork from crab and lobster. All they know is how to keep the law, so that the Lord never turns His back on them, and they'll forever always be on top of all these other nations. You got that?
Yeah, where we at from 1 Corinthians, what chapter again?
14 and 33.
All right, 14.
So you think about Corinthians, you talking about Paul here, right? Who wrote letters concerning the schools.
First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33.
Yep.
For God is not the author of confusion.
All right. So what does the author do?
Basically, like create a story, write a story.
All right. Let's see what Webster's has to. Yeah. Someone who writes, right?
Right.
A writer of a literary work such as a book, you know, one that originates or creates something, a source. Okay. So right here is saying that the Most High Power is not the author of confusion. All right, so we don't get the definition of confusion. We're going to break this thing all the way down. We're going to make it as flat as it can be. All right. So what is confusion? Give me a second. I'm about to pull it up. Confusion. Confusion is, let me get past this. Baba Couché. An act or instance of confusing, the quality or state of being confused. A confused mass or mixture. So whenever you have something that contradicts what was originally said or what originally is done, therefore confusion is. So if I told you this is hot, but now I'm telling you it's cold, and you're feeling it, and you're like, this ain't either one of the two. Now you don't know what to think. That's confusion, right? And when it comes to the Bible, people don't read it for what these priests and prophets and the ISUPK are teaching it. So therefore, they don't have an understanding. So a lot of pastors like to cherry pick and then tell a story, and the scriptures don't make sense. It's because they don't have an understanding. So you get understanding, you're not confused. Sometimes the Bible speaks in parables and metaphors and similes, you know what I'm saying? And when it comes to a certain dialect, the vernacular that's used, listen, this book right here is strictly for my niggas. It's not for Joel Osteen, Doug Baxter, or what's his name? Doctor, whatever his name is, to try to interpret. This is strictly for my niggas. You understand? So go ahead, keep going. God is not the author of confusion,
but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
So what it's saying is, it's not someone who dies. It's a brother like you and I who used to sin and came into this truth. Now we have an understanding. We have the fear of the Lord. You understand? Like, this is not our rest, right? But when you think about what's obtained when it comes through peace, that breath of life, you come into life. So I ain't got to worry about the police pulling me over. I ain't got to be nervous and shit. I'm not at arms with my conscience and my spirit because the police is behind me. I know I got 12 keys in the trunk. keeping these laws that you command, I ain't gotta worry about that. Ain't shit, man. You pull me up if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Understand, I'm not a victim. Ain't gonna be no hands up, no shoot. I'm gonna agree with my adversary lest he throws me in jail, right? You got those brothers that be like, oh, what you pulling me over for? And they get your black behind out the car. Like, let you get him. Nah. Yes, no, give him ID, like identification. Like, if you can keep the laws of the Most High Christ, you can keep the laws of the land. Therefore, you won't be under arrest. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to be stressed out. Therefore, now I found rest in these laws, statutes, commandments. I have peace in my life, man. I don't have to worry about this, that, and the third. I've changed my ways. The Lord's not the Most High is not an author of confusion. Understand that. We war against our flesh. And that battle, it oftentimes, more than not, unless you're in the ISUPK, it causes confusion. So if you don't know something, ask your question. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the damn day, I'll tell myself whatever I need to hear so that I can be happy. But if that's not the Lord's will for us to be happy, or we got to go through, you just got to go through it. You got to make that sacrifice. He did.
That's like what we talked about last week. You gotta suffer.
Suffer. Man, suffer your soul that affliction. That's how you prove yourself. You think about what we want, right? What we want. Like, everybody wants a meal that's just picture perfect. I want that burger that's on the menu. You get this all lopsided, cheese hanging off the way, halfway cooked, tomato green and yellow. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to our effort, that's when we get the Most High Christ. How's that proving anything? You're a top-notch chef. You know what I'm saying? You go to the dealership. You don't want something, what do you call it, a limit or a limit? You don't want a limit. You want the one that has no miles on it. Nobody ain't touched it and it's perfect in every way. Well, when the Bible says be therefore perfect, why not give that to the Most High without blemish? So he puts us among these heathen nations, man, so that we can prove ourselves. Not so we can fall victim to it. Now I'm in the store buying blunt wraps because I need to get high. That's not proving myself. That's showing the Most High that I'm weak. And you know those blunt wraps are going to do? They're going to fund the education for those heathens. And you know what's going to happen? They're not going to get one store, they're going to get multiple stores. And instead of them showing us love, man, listen, they don't give a damn about us. They're going to sell your kids blunt wrappers so they can get high, get raped, get murdered, get beat up by the police. You know what I'm saying? Be struck out of their mind. And all because of what? They hold, like I said before, the American flag in higher regard than they do any of our lives. So when it comes to seeing the value in my brother and my sister, it's worth more than this kingdom. I'm not going to sell out for the riches of this kingdom. Nah, Captain Potts always said, man, listen, there's going to be one taller than the rest, putting crowns on the brother's head, according to the work that you put in. And you store your riches up in heaven, where no moth or rust can tarnish it, man. And that's what it's about. The riches. The riches are the riches. Your money can't save you from that day of reckoning. The Lord created evil and created peace. One you get through serving yourself, the other you get through serving the Most High, through Christ. We came and taught. And we got to understand that as so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, if you had a child, right, and let's say he was your favorite, right, do anything to protect him, and you're in a situation and it's just like he does everything you want, are you ever going to let anything happen to that child? He's going to be under your watchful eye, right? But you have a child that just doesn't listen. Man, screw you, man. You ain't my real dad. Knowing that you are, you know what I'm saying? And man, you know what? F all this. My dad's dead. My mom told me about your punk. Just cursing you, doing everything that you taught him not to do so that you can save his life. In the end, it's like, I can't. What? You're going to turn your back, right? And this is what our Father did. But him being so merciful, we have grace and mercy. We have a time period, you know what I'm saying, to get it together. But if that evil finds you, then, hey, listen, you got to start all over. You might come back as a big booty midget with fat hands. You can't even open a jar because you didn't do what you were supposed to do when you were here. Understand that. Like this life is not what the Christian church says it is, where it's like, oh well, you have free will. There's no free will. What is the proof of that? Because either you choose life or you will be killed. That's the fear of the Lord. Understanding 50-50, life and death. So is that actually a choice? When it's 50-50, life and death, is it a choice? It's not a choice, is it?
Not a choice.
Hell no, you're gonna choose life, right?
Correct.
Exactly. So why listen to the Christian church who tells you, listen, you have free will? Knowing that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom, you know that you don't have free will. Because if you don't do what your father says, he will kill you. You will breathe no more. So let's see. Matter of fact, I think we'll go to Jeremiah next. Let's see. Jeremiah, is that one? 50:7. Yeah, Jeremiah 50:7. You know, we have to understand the value of one another. You know, if you crack a penny open right now, it's not copper, it's zinc. You know, what is zinc worth on a periodic table? What is it worth when it comes to saving a life? And so many people say they don't believe in God, but can open and fix their lips to say it. Well, how do you have proof of a creator? You have a creation. You know, and he made that science, made all these things possible. So, Lockie, so we in Jeremiah 50:7. 50:7. Let's see what this is. If this is the right one I want to get to. Like I said, Commander Jam kind of always talks about us seeing the true value in one another. There's gonna come a time we're gonna need one another. You know, like I'll talk to a brother this week, man. Like this is how destroyed we are in this nation. You know what I mean? And how much the oppressor doesn't give a damn about us. You know, he'll not only not pay us our worth or weight in gold, but he's gonna rob us in taxes. He's gonna rob us in child support. Even if you do have a job, if you don't have a job, he wants his little bit of money. He's not only gonna put a child above you with child support, he's gonna put that woman above you because she's gonna be the one who narrates and depicts where that money goes, right? And then to say the least, when they charge you with that child support, he doesn't take into consideration how you're gonna eat, what you're gonna drink, you know, where you're gonna live, gas money, your mortgage. He don't take into consideration none of that. All he's going to do is put a number in front of you that you have to freaking pay, right? And then you so caught up in trying to pay this, not go to jail because he's going to throw you in prison if you don't. And she says she's an independent woman. Meanwhile, you know, she's investing in the industry of Motorola, them toys, right? And instead of having a good man, she got rid of one that cared about her feelings. Not nobody give a damn about your feelings. So now you wear your feelings like a gold chain. You expect every man to deal with them, right? And brothers ain't trying to deal with that, right? You want everyone to notice your feelings that you wear your sleeves like gold and diamonds and jewels. Now we have a situation where brothers ain't respecting sisters, sisters ain't respecting brothers. But back to the initial situation, not only do he not care about how much you pay him, you know what I'm saying? He says he wants his money, you're going to jail. Why? Because that little bit of child support that you owe, it's not as much as he'll make off you if you're in the penitentiary. You know, cheap labor. And if you're not, he puts you in an area where it's so bad, all you see is drugs and niggas able to do certain things or doing the wrong things. He pushes that agenda, you know. And now we feel like we got to do that just to keep our head above water. You know what I'm saying? Now you go in your dirty clothes basket. Everything you got on dirty because you ain't got enough money to wash your clothes, because they don't come in an apartment you have to live in, or because the laundromat that's in the apartment is shut down. Everything you put on dirty. That's what we're deduced to in this kingdom. But yet and still, instead of finding the value in a brother, we hate one another because that's what the oppressor taught us. Because we're homeborn slaves, we have Stockholm syndrome. You think that he's doing something for us, and he's not. He's not. He tell you can what? Vote? It's like a raffle. If they even count it, it don't matter for nothing. And why vote for another wicked slave master? Like Donald Trump was the first, right? He was too wicked. He was too raw. They were like, you know what? But what he's saying, he's screwing up the economy. He effing up our money. These niggas don't like him. Let's get rid of him. It was his own people that got rid of him and got him out of office. They want somebody who's going to be smooth like Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden, he come in there, his arms don't go up so high, falling asleep, and he'll tell you, listen, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Niggas like, oh, I kind of like him. Meanwhile, he's giving money to everybody but the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and American Indians. My brothers and sisters still on the border sleeping under those thermogenic blankets, those uniform blankets, man. You gotta see how big this room is. Just imagine putting 50 people in here. We're gonna be on top of each other. Some people land on 50 people can't even fit in here. But that's what they have to utilize. They're gonna open this door, gonna take this off, and then we're gonna be right here. And we all got one bathroom to use. And I'm not talking about the men's and the women, I'm talking about just a toilet. That's wicked, man. And we choose to love the oppressor. And we think this is our rest because well, if you work real hard, you keep your head down, you don't talk to your brother that's beside you that needs your help, you don't give him a ride because he ain't help you with your gas money, he ain't got it. You listen to oppression, now you're looking towards putting your feet up in. This is not our rest. It's not. We have to do this work, man. We have to look out for one another. Just like Christ did when he washed his brother's feet to make sure they're clean. It costs nothing to call you, hey man, how you doing, brother? Everything good? Yeah, man, I got some things on my mind. It costs nothing to pick up the phone and just check on your brother, check on your sister. You call the bank, hey, I still got that, you'll call the bank, you'll check your bank statement. You might not call, you check your bank statements though. You make sure that little bit of bread is there still. But what about your brother? What about your sister who's going through something and she don't know how to handle or deal with it? And then we get another pandemic. Barakatah Yahweh Yahushua. And now we need to lean on one another. And all you can say is, well, when I needed this, you didn't have it. This is why we need to come together. Put away all that talk of the past and all that other stuff, because there's a beast out there who hunts our steps, who doesn't care about us for gain and for pleasure. That police, did you see that article? Whole precinct texting, talking about how they want to kill niggas and hunt them down and do all kinds of stuff. Then we have another precinct who up and leave because there's a black woman as governor. But yet still we seek their love and we trim our ways for what? We hate our brothers and our sisters. Nah, man. You call me, I'm coming. Simple as that. Simple as that. If I have it to do, I'm doing it. Even if I don't have it, we're going to make it work. Because I see the value of my brother. I see the value of my sister. You know what I'm saying? You can't put a price on that type of mentality. This is why they raise some up, they keep some low, they do certain things to instill fear. But all we have to do is what we were supposed to do in the first place. And that's to be obedient to our power, our Father. Because you give your seed to a woman and she has kids, right? Those are your kids. You go to the let's say you go to the what do you call it, playground, right? All these kids running around and doing what the hell they want to do. Little Chinese kid running around, half a goddamn tentacle from an octopus hanging out his mouth because that's his snacks. You think you care about that child? No, you don't. You don't care. Because for one, you would never give your kid no squid to eat. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna feed that's them. So as a father, you're gonna protect yours. We already broke down Deuteronomy. The Lord has a chosen people, right?
All right.
So let's get this right quick. So I don't need to talk too long. Jeremiah 50 and 7. You got it?
Yeah, chapter 50, verse 7. All that found them and devoured them.
Hold on, man. You got to read that a little louder and recognize what you're actually saying, because we need to understand this. Just because oppressor gives you a little bit of what? Financial assistance. Wait, what was that? That stimulus packet? 1,200. Tell you something about that 1,200, right? It was crumbs to what the fake Jewish man gets a year. What his family has been getting all this time for that fake Holocaust. Well, we went through the real Holocaust and transatlantic slave trade. You understand? So this right here is heavy. Read that one more time, brother.
All right. All that found them have devoured them.
All that found who? We're talking about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians in this kingdom, man. Everybody who found us, from the Edomites to the Asians to the Africans to the East Indians with a little dot in their head, you know, to what else we got? The Arabs. Everybody who found us, they did what? They said what? They did what?
Devoured.
Devour, man. Every nation we're poured into, you know what they do? They take the best from us. Oh, they know how to dress. Give me that. They don't dance. Give me that. They know how to cook. Give me that. They like chicken. Give me that. Now they selling us our own fried chicken. And what do we get from it? They eat us up. They devour us. Keep going.
And their adversaries said.
They're adversaries, man. What is an adversary? That's an op. You're not my op. You know what I'm saying? We're not Crips and Bloods. We're not gangbangers. We brothers and sisters. But they push that narrative. So we kill each other to help them out because they're the true adversaries. Keep going.
We offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers.
Man, understand this, man. These bastards, right? You know, everybody that found us, the Edomite, Chinese, Japanese, African, all of them, they all get rich off of us, man. The so-called white man, you know, and he's confederate with them, right? We don't get rich because they purposely put us at the bottom. You come over here, you see an African, hey, what's up, brother? Hey, no, we no brother. You cotton picker. You're not like me. While they sipping on some, what is it called? Fufu, eating with their fingers, I didn't wipe their behind with the other hand. Feel freaking meat. You look down at me and you eating rodents, my nigga. Not even my nigga, Salaka. You Hamite. You look down at my people like we're nothing. And you like them golden showers and eat dung. When it comes to the oppressor, come on, man. Tell my people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps after doing what? Enslaving us and getting rich off of us. When you picked the cotton, you kept the textile and the money. Jewish man opened up banks, and then now, whenever to get a loan, we get charged a usury, and they get whole businesses to open up. Understand that, man? Come on. Anybody that's not in the ISUPK is an adversary. Understand that. Because if you're not in here, you're not serving the Most High power. That means you're enemy to him. If you're enemy to my power, you're enemy to me. So make no mistake, and don't feel bad. You got to go to war with the flesh. Because Big Mama say, come over here and get a plate. You don't know, Big Mama. You ain't way up out there with them diabetes. You keep eating all that pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, all that hog head cheese, because you like the way it tastes on a Ritz cracker. Like, nah. And won't give a damn about your kids. Well, I got them something for Christmas. What about the rest of the year? They needed school supplies. I called your phone was going to voicemail. But see, we're so ready and willing to serve the oppressor and not our power. This is why we don't have any power. You understand? So let me see. They say they aren't doing anything wrong because we sin against our power. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know your dad said you gotta be in by night. When that street light come on. Well, come on, let's go play hide and seek. Well, I ain't doing that wrong because you ain't at the house nowhere. You 6 blocks away, the light's been on. Let's keep the party going. Well, you're not allowed to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. But you said you was hungry eating it anyway, so I'm gonna keep feeding it to you. Because we sit against our father. They said, man, we ain't doing nothing wrong. They don't even care about themselves. I see him push his brother down. So what? I'm gonna throw a rock at his head. Who cares? They know exactly what the Bible says. That's why they teach us something totally different, these Christian churches. One of the worst places. If you're listening to me right now, you're in the Christian church, get out. Get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Get up out of that Christian church, man. Forget those doctrines. Forget your Christian pastor who just wants to get the money out your pocket so that he can live deliciously upon this land, man. Like, forget all that. They know that the Most High is going to turn his back on us when we disobey him. You know what I'm saying? Why do we disobey the Most High? For chitlins? You know, because the Christian church said you're not supposed to have any kids out of wedlock. Now you're going to the abortion clinic. And let's get on. Let's listen. Understand this, right? Everybody was so happy when Kamala Harris went into, like, you know, presidency. She's vice president. Everybody cheering. You know, she's a stinking heathen. She's Indian. She had one of the highest conviction rates as a prosecutor. So understand, like, let's say you ride around town, sitting, you got a little gram, you know, it's a little gram, a couple roaches in your ashtray. You know what I'm saying? Because that gram was in a bag, and you got those roaches in the ashtray, which was personal consumption. You ain't gotta have a scale. Kingpin status. She's gonna push it to the furthest extent of the law. So to have 100% conviction rate, you're gonna get conviction. You're gonna get convicted for that little bit of marijuana that you had, right? But make no mistake, hey, listen, 2 or 3 years for a gram and some roaches. What about life? Because it was in a bag, it was bagged up. So they said, oh, you get the personal consumption right there, but Kingpin status, because I feel like he had the intent to what? Distribute. 100%. And you know what she said healthcare was? You know?
No.
Anybody online? No, I don't think anybody watching. That's all good. You know what Kamala Harris said healthcare was? Abortion clinics.
All right.
She said that the abortion clinic was a form of healthcare. Right? That she was willing to give support to. So let's get more healthcare in the communities, i.e. the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians. Let's put more abortion clinics there to help kill the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians. I don't know if you read the end of Genesis, come through the Exodus, but that's what that mean Pharaoh wanted to do. He wanted to kill the children of Israel so that they didn't become mighty and strong. But thanks to Commander Junior High, that's not going to happen. He'll stop them as one way to abortion clinic. You know why he's able to do that? Because with those ties, he don't go get no Louis, Gucci, Fendi, and Prada. Commander Junior High is a man of war, man. How do we know that? He sacrificed so much just to build this great nation. He goes to war with his flesh. And this is what each and every one of our brothers, the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, need to do in this nation in order to build it up. We need to take up our swords and go to war with our flesh. Fight our own demons, so my demons ain't your problem. And your demons ain't her problem. And her demons ain't his problem. Understand that if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, because there's 2 Americas. The one they live in and the one that we live in, that we call hell. All right, so with that, we're going to end the class. I'm going to read these announcements, and we're going to get to these prayers. All right. So lock you. Hey, keep finding which way is the east. Which one? That way.
I think so.
All right. So this is the IGPK security announcements. We are the IGPK starting at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 and 8 through 10, which means the 10th in the Hebrew, my Ishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. All right. So when you think about that, don't be like a Christian and say, well, I work for this money. Well, the Lord, seeing that you have a job, you know, he could give you a fat foot and gout. You can't go nowhere. You won't have 10% of nothing. It's not something that you win or, you know what I'm saying, somebody, any increase, all that, you know, any money that you give 10% to the ISUPK. All right. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation will be the Feast of First Fruits, right? I believe so. Reminder for Aki and Akwathian, you know, so you have any questions, just ask me or the camp leader. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, and pants. And with that, Amaja, which means to stand. Sorry, we'll play your Hakwadon when we turn to the east. The east is which way, this way? All right, so we're gonna go through. What time is it? What time is it?
8:08.
8:08. All right, so we'll get through these, try to get through all the curses. All right, so this is the Lord's Prayer. Repeat after me. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Shakah,
Shekah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malak with Ka,
Malakah,
Taba'ah,
Abahah,
Ratazayaka,
Ratazayah,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Aisha,
Asha,
Baratazah,
Baratazah,
Kawa,
Kawah,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Bashemayim,
Bashemayim,
Nathan,
Nathan,
Lanawa,
Lanai,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Kal,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Masalaka now,
Masalakana,
Kabawafi now,
Kabalakana,
Kasalaka now,
Kasalakana,
Kabawafi now.
Kabanak, Kabanak,
Okay, take your time. You good? Kabawafi now,
Kapawakana,
Wala'a,
Walaha,
Tabayaya now, Tabayaya now,
Tabanaya, Taban, say it again,
Taba,
Taba,
Ya,
Ya,
now,
Now,
Banasa Yawan,
Manasaya, Nawan,
Abal,
Abal,
Hawa Shaya now,
Aya, Shawina,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa,
Waha Allah,
Hawala'a,
Waha Thapa Ara, Waha
Waha,
Thapa,
Waha,
Thapa
Fa'a,
Ara,
Ara,
La'a,
La'a,
Walamyam,
La'ay,
Aman.
Amen.
All right, so what we said in the English is, Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and give us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
and we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
Amen.
That's it. We're going to end it right there. Hey, Shalom, Israel. We'll be right here at the Columbus Metropolitan Library off Hague Road next Tuesday. All right, tune in to Moment of Truth Radio from 11 to 12 p.m. on Sunday. All right, with that, Shalom.